Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple, and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
All right, shalom, Israel. First of all, let's clap it up. Hey, shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command and General Yohana. This is the Monday night scripture breakdown class. What we do what your Christian pastors cannot do. Your Christian pastors, they get up on a podium, on a pulpit in a three-piece suit, and they just spew a whole bunch of rhetoric and doctrine that they learned from their oppressor to keep you a docile slave. But here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we've been teaching Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible since 1969. You want to find the authority on the Bible. You want to find the real priests and prophets of the Lord. You want to find, the real biblical scholars and the historians and the linguists. You look right here. You know what I mean? And Salakia, give me 1 second. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the class. You know what I mean? Make sure you share it with your loved ones. Make sure you Salakia, like, share, subscribe to the channel, share it with your loved ones, share it with, even if you disagree, I'm expecting some I'm expecting some hecklers to come up in here. Even if you, if you in here, you think it's a joke, share it with the others around you, your peers who also think what we do in the ISUPK is a joke. You know what I mean? And you got any questions or comments, you can put those in the chat as well. You put all your comments, whether you agree or disagree. You want to challenge these brothers up in here, and whether we know the Bible or not, go ahead, put it in the chat as well. You know what I mean? We'll prove you to be a liar. We'll prove that we know the Bible, we the home of the truth, and you just aren't. Right. You know what I mean? Before we get started, any questions in the room or any questions in the chat? You got one?
Another one,
All right, go ahead. What you got?
I have get a breakdown on the book of Genesis chapter 8, verse 7.
All right. You got it in front of you?
Sir.
All right, go ahead, read it.
The book of Genesis chapter 8, verse 7. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Verse 8 is well on verse 8. He also sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were adapted from off the face of the ground.
You do you have a specific question, or you just want to?
Yeah, I was just trying to see what was the raven sent out the seek or whatever. Now, why was the raven sent out to the land?
Okay. So the reason why, so you understand, this is the part where Noah, this is after Noah built the ark, and he had put all these animals, 2 of every unclean beast, and I believe it was 7 every clean, put them all in the ark, and then the great flood of the earth, right? And I believe it was like 40 days that the flood went on, right? So the reason why, uh short answer, the reason why these birds were sent out was to see, basically to like check what the water, to check what the water level was. Like if it was, you know what I mean, what was the progression or the digression of the flood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Uh so the flood had lasted for 40 days, and now he's trying to, basically he's sending the birds out to see if the water is coming down. Because if the water's coming down, because the flood, remember, if you read before, I believe in a previous chapter, it says that the water was over the mountains. I mean, so the if he when he send the bird out, the bird usually, like, they'll fly and then they'll land somewhere. They'll perch and find land, or they'll perch on a tree or a mountain or a stone or something. But since the water was over the mountains, if the bird was sent out and it came back, that just, what does that tell you?
That they had nowhere to rest.
So they gonna come back to the only place that there is the rest, which is the ark. Right? That was the whole purpose of him sending out them birds. Now there was I believe, I don't know if you read ahead, but there's a point further down where he sends out the same birds, and the birds, or the bird, don't come back.
Right.
I mean, which tells you that they found somewhere to rest, which lets you know that the water is, I believe the word that they used was assuaged, which means basically the water is going down. But that's what that would let you know, because obviously if the water is going down, then they able to find somewhere to perch. All right, you get the point. Did that answer your question?
Con on the one con.
Or my son Christ. Then it's a brother. I don't know if it's a brother, whatever what it is, but A Hammer. I mean, it's a brother up in there. It's somebody up in there. I mean, any hecklers. You know, what I mean, you got any questions or anything like that? You go ahead and put it in the chat. You know, what I mean, we did have some beautiful conversations and some excellent debates in these comments with these hecklers.
Right.
I mean, where they, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. But feel free to put your questions in the chat, and we can talk about, I mean, whatever your misunderstanding of the Bible is. That's the whole point of this class. All right. Tonight, I mean, if you got any questions or comments as well throughout the class, feel free to ask. And we'll, depending on, we can, what's the word? We can yeah, we can go to your question, and then get off the topic, answer your question, or whatever the case is. But to their questions or comments or anything like that, we're gonna talk about the revolution of the Lord. I mean, that's the topic of tonight's class. And so your Christian pastors, because your Christian pastors have pacified, or they have taken the spirit of the Lord out the Bible, right? We think that, like, you ask any Black, Hispanic, or Native American, especially if they don't necessarily believe in the Bible. Like right now, you ask any brother or sister, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm not religious. I'm spiritual." Even if they go to church, you know what I mean. They just go into church for the fun of it, or just for, you know what I mean. You know who's going to church for, you know what I mean. Brothers go to church for the women. Sisters go to church for, you know what I mean, for power. For the brothers that's up in there, whatever the case is, you know what I mean. I you know what I mean, full disclosure, I was going to the Christian church for the music. You know what I mean? Because that's all it is. It's just a concert. You know what I mean? But you don't go to the Christian church to learn the Bible. You know what I mean? You ask any the number one thing that most Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans think about the Bible is that it's a white man's book. I mean, that's what they'll tell you. They're like, "Oh, this is just a white man's book." It's like, what that? Oh, slacky. Okay, cut the water. But they'll say, "Oh, the Bible is a white man's book." Y'all heard that before? That sound familiar? where black people say, "Oh, that's a white man's book. The white man wrote the Bible." You said no. Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ. You about to say something?
We got something in the chat.
Oh, what's in the chat?
Yeah, kind of sister says, Salakia, are the ICE protests happening across America a sign of the end times?
God, yes, yes, yes. What you seeing, and that go right into the topic. Like what you seeing in America, not only just the ICE protests, but ICE in general, like what ICE is doing to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, people protesting against ICE, what Trump is doing, what Elon Musk is doing, what the argument between or the beef between Trump and Elon Musk, the war in Ukraine and Israel and the Gaza Strip, the beef between China and Taiwan, Russia and America. Everything that you see right now is a sign of the end times because we are in the end times. We are living in the last day. Like Cap said yesterday, we living in the last seconds or last minutes. You know what I mean? And that's what we talking about right now tonight. You know what I mean? What you're seeing right now, everything that I just named a second ago, is the revolution of the Lord. That's how the revolution of the Lord is gonna happen. You know what I mean? See, because of the Christian church, we think that the revolution of the Lord is gonna come with, you gotta go vote. You gotta vote in the next president. You know what I mean? We went to the voting booths and put our ballot in for I believe last year in November we was voting. We was trying to figure out whether we was gonna put Kamala Harris or Donald Trump in office. Right. Before that, it was Biden and Trump. Right. You know what I mean? And even then, when your Christian pastors or your elders will convince you or they'll try to coerce you or urge you to vote as if it's an important thing, they'll follow it up with I'm not. As a matter of fact, I'll entertain it. What is? Yeah. You please.
Yeah, if I could, somebody in the chat says, "Why y'all using the Star of David, same star Esau used? Y'all tripping. The Star of David is not biblical."
Okay, first of all, are you asking a question or are you making a comment? Right. Just let me know. Do you want to answer to your question or are you just talking? I'll answer your question, but if this is a statement, then you know what I mean, I appreciate your comment. So just let me know, all right? Then I'll decide whether we'll. Okay, these are more statements. All right, brother, just let me know if you asking a question or you just making a statement, all right? Actually, I'll help you out, okay? Let me think of an example. You familiar with white Jesus, right? Is Jesus white? Just answer that. Is Jesus white? And I'm just walk with me. I'm gonna answer your question, but I just want you to understand: is Jesus white? Because the Christian church also use the star, or the Jewish man uses the shield of David because it's not a star, it's a shield of David. But the Christian church, which is also ran by your oppressor, they use white Jesus. They use Jesus. The Catholic Church, they use white Jesus. So I want to ask you, is Jesus white?
Like you answered. I said, what verse is the Star of David mentioned? And nope, he's black.
Excellent question. What is it? What's that? Nah, that's the Star Molech, right? No. Cause that's Seal of Zion. I believe that's in the Apocrypha. But okay, you said Jesus isn't black, or Jesus is black. He's not white. Well, why do we use Jesus? Why do we use Jesus as the image that represents the King of Israel? It's for the same reason why we wear the shield of David. Because just like your Christian pastor or just like your oppressor is a thief and he stole the image of Christ and made him a white man, and he used it to represent their religion, even though Christ didn't die for white people. Christ isn't the representative of white people and their nation and their religion and their culture. He's the representative of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So just like your oppressor came to steal the image of Christ and make him a white man and paint him as the image of their religions, we use the shield of David because it rightfully belongs to us. Even though your oppressor has stolen the shield of David, and they call it the Mogan David, or however the hell they pronounce it. That's just another thing that they stole, brother. That's just another thing that they stole, and we're wearing it rightfully because it belongs to us. Right. That's why. So I pray that answers your question. You got that the precept, please.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 10 and verse 23.
Oh, you might read in about 2 verses up so we get a little context.
Chapter
actually, the 22 probably is.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 10 and verse 22. Our psaltery is laid on the ground. Our song is put to silence.
Okay, so this is talking about the fall of Jerusalem, the fall of our nation. To the hands of our oppressor. Much like how blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we don't let your oppressor tell it. We don't have a nation. We don't have a culture. But this is the same thing where back then our nation had fallen to an oppressor to oppressors. Right now we in the same condition. So our psaltery is laid on the ground. Our song is put to silence. We don't have. Oh, Slacky, go ahead.
Our rejoicing is at an end.
So we don't have a reason to rejoice. We don't have a reason to sing and dance. Even though your Christian pastors, they want you to sing and dance and clap your hands and beat tambourines and all of that. This is a time, much like right now, where this is a time of mourning for us. Slacky, go ahead.
God, the light of our candlestick is put out.
And what you got to realize is there are some, like you see the table, we got the light of our candlestick right here, the menorah, the menorah in the Hebrew. Which is the representation of a almond tree. We had certain things that was holy to us that we had in our temples, that we had on our, on our what's that joint called? The what do they call it? Altars.
Right.
We got the oil, we got the wine, we got the frankincense and the myrrh, we got the showbread, we got the all these things that was holy, the Urim and the Thummim, the what we would call dice today, which Moses and later on the Levites used to make decisions at times. We had all of these holy things that that belong to us, and that belong to us, right? And we kept in our temples. But when your oppressor comes to steal you or to destroy you, they don't just destroy you. They don't just come through and just they don't just come through and kick you out the country. They don't just come through and put you in captivity. They have to destroy everything.
Right.
Like, because they know who we are.
Right.
They know exactly who we are. They know that we the chosen people of the Most High God. So when they come through, they come to our temples and they burn our temples down. They flip our altars over. They want to sacrifice. They want to profane our holy places. I believe it's going to say that in a second. But they want to profane our holy places. They want to bring, and this happened several times in history where they brought, pig's blood and sacrificed, unclean animals on our altar, to the point we had to destroy the whole thing. Every stone, had to be removed and destroyed and broken to pieces so that we can rebuild our temple, right, like it says in the law, or in the I believe it's Leviticus. But it's like, go ahead, read on. But that's what your oppressor does, right? So when they want to destroy you as a people, that's why we don't have no recollection. We don't have no culture. We think that we're Africans, or we call ourselves African American, which is just two oppressors. That's why we think we're Christians. Some of us are Christians. Some of us are Catholic. We join our oppressors' military and police force. You know what I mean? You see what's going on in L.A., them L.A. Riots, them protests. You know what I mean? You got blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans protesting against ICE agents and the Border Patrol and all of that. And guess who else is ICE agents and Border Patrol? The very people that they are trying to mass deport it's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in there as well.
Right.
I mean, it's some oppressors in there, but we join their military and their police force and their ICE agents and their border patrol and all of that. You know what I mean? It's because the reason why we do that, and we think there's nothing wrong with that, the reason why we see, like we talked about before, we, even though Christ isn't black, or it's like Christ isn't a white man, but you see in every Christian church that there's a white man or white representation of Christ on every wall in every Christian church and every Catholic church, on all them candles and all of that. You know what I mean? On every Jesus piece, it's a white man. You know what I mean? We just wear them. You know what I mean? We don't see nothing wrong with it. It's because of this. Because when your oppressor storms when your oppressor overtakes you as a people, they have to destroy everything and make sure we don't remember who we are as a people. Right. And that's what you're seeing right here. It's like, go ahead, read on.
The ark of our covenant is spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
Our holy things are defiled.
And that's where we kept all our holy things. I mean, go ahead. They defiled all our holy things, and that's what you see a description of. You're gonna see a description of that in a second. It's like, go ahead.
And the name that is called upon us is almost profaned. Our children are put to shame. Our priests are burnt.
It's like you read back just a little bit. It said the name.
And the name that is called upon us is almost profaned. See,
that's the whole point of what you're seeing right here. So the name of Israel may be no more remembrance, like it says in Psalms 83.
Right.
That's what your oppressor does. So all the things that you see, you know what I mean, in our temples, the candlestick of light, you know what I mean, the oil, the wine, the urim, the thummim, the you know what I mean, the ram's horn, all of those different things, your oppressor's goal is trying to make you forget who you are. That's why when you looked at us and you saw that we was wearing the shield of David, first of all, you called it a star,
right,
mistakenly. You know what I mean? We did the same thing. We thought it was the Star of David too, so I don't blame you for that. But that's the reason why, because your oppressor stole your identity and stole everything that was holy to you and identified you as an Israelite.
Right.
And then they replaced it with bywords. They call you black or Hispanic or Native American. They call you all these slurs. You know what I mean? They call you nigga, spick, savage, wetback, all these different things. You know what I mean? That's not by accident. It's like, you go ahead.
Our children are put to shame. Our priests are burnt.
Our priests are born. Now, why you think they targeting the priests? Because the priests are the ones who upheld our customs. You know what I mean? They were the ones who made sure that we didn't forget who our what our culture was. Slacky, go ahead.
Our Levites are gone into captivity.
See, why are the Levites important? Why are they targeting the Levites? Because the Levites at that time were the priests. You know what I mean, they had the priesthood at that time. And they took the Levites into captivity. Right. You know what I mean, for the same reason I mentioned earlier. All of these things that you see in Second Ezra, the 10th chapter, is to make sure Israel, in the remembrance of who we are and our culture and identity, is wiped out. Go ahead, Slacky.
Our virgins are defiled.
And Slacky, go ahead.
And our wives ravished.
See, that's you see. We was going over the Willie Lynch letters a couple weeks ago. You know what I mean, where they targeted our strong men. They destroyed our strong men and took away our sister's sense of security and, you know what I mean, the men in the house. So what did they do? They had to raise the men to be effeminate, and they had to raise the women to be you know what I mean, they had to raise the women to be masculine. And all the while your oppressor is ravaging and, you know what I mean, having a way with our women. You know what I mean, destroying them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Slacky, go ahead.
Our virgins are defiled and our wives ravished. Our righteous men carried away. Our little ones destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I just described earlier. You know what I mean? And also the little ones destroyed. You see the Trail of Tears. That's exactly what they did. Where they destroyed the strong men. They destroyed the strong men and burned the women and the children that we was protecting. You know what I mean? When they was pushing us further west in the Trail of Tears, they was taking the lives of the elderly. You know what I mean? The elderly, the pregnant, the sick, or whoever was, you know what I mean, not well enough or fast enough to be able to move and take that long voyage. They was taking advantage of their weakness and taking their lives. That's what they do. That's what they do. And that's the whole point. The whole point again is to make you forget who we are. So that's why you see this shield of David and you think that it belongs to our person when really it belongs to us.
Right.
It's like you go ahead.
Khan, our young men are brought in bondage, and our strong men are become weak.
Go ahead.
Verse 23. And which is the greatest of all.
Which is what?
The greatest of all.
All right, so this is the greatest thing of all. Go ahead.
The seal of Zion has now lost her honor.
The seal of Zion has now lost her honor. That's the shield of David. That's what you see around our necks,
Right.
and on our headpieces, and on our clothes, and on our earrings, and all those different things. That's the shield of David, and it's lost its honor because now, where you would once see the shield of David. You mind pulling up that picture of the sheriff badge?
Khan.
Where at one point you would see the shield of David, and you would know off the rip, this is coming. Whatever you about to. You know what I mean? Whoever this is, they coming in authority of King David. They're coming in authority of whoever's ruling over Israel at that time. They're coming in authority of the Lord. You know what I mean? That's what you would think before they came and defiled our holy things, and the shield of the seal of Zion has lost its honor. But now when you see it, you associate it with our oppressor, and now you asking us, well, why y'all wearing the same shield of David, or why y'all wearing the same star of David? Because you called it a star. Why y'all wearing the same star of David that the white man wear? So you immediately think that we're wearing the white man's star of David, when really your oppressor is wearing your shield of David, your
Right.
seal of Zion.
Right.
That's what's happening. You know what I mean, Most High Christ. Now you see what that brother just put up on the screen. See, now this is why this is the same shield that your police force wear, your sheriffs and your you know what I mean, your state troopers and things like that. That's what they badges look like. So now when you see the shield of David, you don't get the same comfort or the same relief that you feel when you see, you know what I mean, a black, Hispanic, or Native American wearing that shield of David. Now you about to, you know what I mean, your heart skip a beat. You know what I mean? Now you in danger. You feel unsafe. Now you feel like your life is in danger. You know what I mean? Because read that scripture again, Baba Kashar.
Khan. Verse 23. And which is the greatest of all, the seal of Zion has now lost her honor.
See, that's why you feel that way, brother. That's why you asked that question. That's why you feel like we're wearing the shield that belongs to the white man. It's because they intentionally did things to make the shield of David, the seal of Zion, lose its honor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you go ahead, finish that up, Baba Kashar.
For she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us.
And that's the whole point. I mean, we're delivered into the hands of these other nations that hate us. So you want to know why your oppressor is wearing the shield of David, and why we associate it with our oppressor is because they hate us. They hate us, and that's a part of the play. That's the whole point. I pray that answered your question.
All right.
Good night. It's all right. Is there anything else in the?
Nothing else in the chat.
Okay, no sweat. Where was we at? But that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this class, because there was a time in history where our holy things was profaned and defiled and destroyed, and our nation was destroyed. Our families were divided. Our kingdom was taken away from us. But there's gonna come a time where all of those things are going to be not only returned to us, but we're going to be back on top in rulership. Right. And your oppressor is going to pay for everything that he stole from us. Right. That's a revolution. That's the revolution of the Lord. See, the Lord, I mean, the Most High is a just God. You know what I mean? And your oppressor, see, your Christian pastors, see, what they teach you what they teach you, and they in these Christian churches and all these different things, they teach you to all just turn the other cheek, and when your oppressors, you know what I mean, pour hot coffee in your lap, or slap you across your face, or hose you down with water hoses and sick dogs on you, and lynch you, and rob you, and murder you, and all these different things. They tell you to just turn the other cheek, and we shall overcome. You should march, and you should love your oppressor. But the Most High don't operate like that.
Right.
As a matter of fact, let's get what is it? Revelations. What is it? 15, 15, and he that leadeth into captivity. 13, yeah. But the Most High is a just God. I mean, he is a God of justice.
Right.
10. You can read that when you got it.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Now, might go into captivity?
Shall go into captivity.
Nah, only if we want him to.
Shall go into captivity.
Nah, but we shall overcome. We got to forgive, because God is all about love and forgiveness and all of that. What did that say?
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
So who has led Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans into captivity? Let's see because I got a feeling what's going to pop up in that chat. I just want to see the level of accountability that we have, because we love to scrutinize one another, because we're an easy target, because I'm poor just like you poor. I'm in the ghetto just like you in the ghetto. So we look at each other as easy targets because I'm tangible. We live in the same hood, so I can reach you, but you can't reach Donald Trump.
Right.
Donald Trump is a damn devil. Elon Musk is a devil. They are evil bastards, and they are running this country. So you can't reach them. But your brother who's in the hood with you, that brother who, you know what I mean, on the corner selling drugs with you, you know what I mean, you can reach out and touch him. He's tangible. So we love to do the most evil and scrutinize and attack one another. So I just want to see who is led. We got an answer in the chat.
The Cat TN said we didn't answer the question, and A Hammer is back.
Okay. What's going on? What's going on, A Hammer? What he say?
A Hammer says Black Romans united under the Pope to get Whitey.
Huh? Okay, no sweat. All right, if you got any questions, you know what I mean, you feel free. If you got any scriptural questions, you feel free to put them in the chat. As far as TN, if you feel like I didn't answer the question, you just wasn't listening.
Right.
And yeah, no sweat, brother. Well, you go ahead and finish that.
Kind.
But if you got any real, you know what I mean, we can have a real conversation on this platform. You know what I mean, this is what this class is for. If you really want real answers to your real life problems, but a lot of times we just be wanting to talk. We just be wanting to talk and say our piece, and you know what I mean, feel intelligent. You know what I mean? But you go ahead, read on. Sir. Yeah, no sweat.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Now, I haven't seen any answers in the chat talking about who is led into captivity. We always want to scrutinize one another, but there is a nation of people that the entire world knows has led more people into captivity than any other nation.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we don't want to hold them accountable. We don't want to hold them accountable. But no sweat, the Most High is going to hold them accountable. And this is what you're reading right here. Slacky, go ahead and read on.
Come. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
See, since don't nobody want to answer the question, I'll go ahead and just let you know who the devil is. The nation of people that's led into captivity is the so-called white man. You know what I mean? Your Andrew Jacksons and your George Washingtons and your Christopher Columbuses and you know what I mean, the pioneers of the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I mean, the ones who bought us from the Africans on the coast of Africa and brought us into America to be slaves. You know what I mean, the ones that stole the land from the Native Americans, the so-called Native Americans, the Tainos and the you know what I mean, the people that was already here before your oppressor came and pillaged the land. They're the ones that lead into captivity. And because they led us into captivity, you know what I mean? I believe it's, 99 million of black people.
Right.
I think it's like 100 million something Hispanics and Native Americans. Like but like all of those people, all those different people that was led into captivity by the so-called white man, since the white man did that, they're going into captivity. You know what I mean? You already read the
Oh, nah, I still got more.
What's lucky?
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
See, what you don't realize is this is what you should be waiting on, black man, Hispanic man, or this is what you should be working for, rather. This is what this is the patience and the faith of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is what you should be looking forward to, because this is justice for you. Because otherwise, unless your captors go into captivity, then you're not going to get no justice.
Right.
You're going to be on the bottom forever.
Right.
You're going to be a slave to the ones who put you in captivity, who ravaged your, your forefathers and your foremothers, and the ones that constantly oppress you to this day. You're going to constantly be marching through the streets with picket signs and all of that. You know what I mean? While your oppressor does what they want with you. You know what I mean? Just like what you seeing in L.A. You know what I mean? Just like what you saw in the, during the Civil Rights Movement. Just like what you saw in 2020 when, we was protesting the police. You know what I mean? We're going to be doing that perpetually if your oppressor doesn't go into captivity and we don't come out of captivity. And also say, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Right. You know what I mean? They have slaughtered nations upon nations upon nation. You know what I mean? They have slaughtered blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in attempt to genocide you and make you forget your culture. You know what I mean? That's why we such good slaves. You know what I mean? But because they did that to you, they must be killed with the sword.
Right.
That's how the Lord works. That's the revolution of the Lord. That's the justice of the Lord. But the problem is we have to be a nation of people that are deserving of justice. You know what I mean? The Most High isn't going to come to deliver a nation of people that are drug addicts. You know what I mean? Your oppressor put the drugs in your neighborhood, and they should absolutely be held accountable. You know what I mean? But the Most High is not gonna come back and come back and deliver a nation of drug dealers and Cardi B's and Meg Thee Stallions and and drug dealers and LGBTQ members.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have to separate from what our oppressor has done to us. We have to separate from our oppressor line of thinking and follow our laws, statutes, and commandments, so that the Most High can have a people that's worth saving.
Damn right.
Slack, you mind giving me John 8 and 31. And this is the problem, right? This is the problem, right? See, we in the middle of captivity. Right now, but because there's no shackles on our feet, no physical shackles on our feet, there's no physical chain or what they call it, a yoke of iron around our neck. Right now, we think that we free because we free to unalive our babies. We free to sleep with any woman and just throw her away. We free to sleep with all nations of people and interracially marry. It's encouraged for you to be an LGBTQ member. We think that we free, so because you free to eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, or you free to get high or do whatever and do all those different things. But we're not. We're very much in captivity right now.
Right.
And the fact that we think that we're in captivity right now, but we think that we free. That's not new. We're about to show you right now. Slack it. You go ahead and read that.
This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 31. Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed. Verse 32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
See, this is what you got to understand. If you are only, see, everybody claim that they love the Most High. Everybody claim that they love Christ and all of that. Even if you don't subscribe to the Bible, you still spiritual and you believe in a higher power and all those different things. Well, what you got to understand is the Most High requires things of you.
Right.
He requires something of you. You have to follow his instructions. You have to separate from your oppressor, and then we'll be able to get justice. I mean, that's why Christ says, ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
Right.
See, we in captivity. It's like, go ahead, read on.
Verse 33. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man.
So you know who Christ is talking to right here? He's talking to a nation of people that are in captivity right now. He's talking to a nation of people that are in captivity underneath the Romans right now, much like how we're underneath the captivity of America right now. And as they're in captivity, he's saying, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you. He's implying that they're not free right now.
Right.
The only way for you to be free is if you understand, if we come back to our culture.
Right.
If you learn the truth. You know what I mean? You learn your law, statutes, and commandments. If we learn who we are as a people and how important it is for us to not be like these other nations.
Right.
He said, if you learn that, then that'll make you free. But our response, you know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean, this was us. It's like, you can read that again, Baba Kasha?
They answer him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man.
We talking about we was never in bondage. We standing in captivity talking about we was never in bondage.
Damn.
I mean, he's talking to a people that are in captivity right now, and they're telling him they're not in captivity. It's the same thing that Harriet Tubman said. I'm telling you, this line of thinking ain't new. You know what I mean? We thinking like this right now. Well, I can go outside right now and we could ask 20. We could talk to 20 people and ask them if they free.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or tell them you're not free. We do it all the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? At camp, in class. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I tried with what is it? TN?
TN.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, you're not free, brother.
Right.
You're not free. They stole your identity. They stole your culture. That's why you see the shield of David and you can't even recognize it for what it is because they stole it from you. I'm trying to tell you, you're not free. But same thing, like when Harriet Tubman, she said, I freed thousands of slaves. I could have freed thousands more if only they knew they were slaves.
Right.
That's the same line of thinking that we got today, same line of thinking that we had then. That's the same line of thinking that we had when, you know what I mean, when Martin Luther King, he did this, you know what I mean, he was in the part of the civil rights movement, and then right before, or he was trying to integrate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans into white society, and then right before a concert. Like it. You might giving him a mic. Oh, Most High Christ. Most High Christ.
Right. Right.
Who's that? You hear that, TN and A Hammer? Where can we go? Where in earth can we go where your oppressor, where the white man doesn't have influence? Where are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans safe to go where we are not under the right? Any country, where in the world can we go where your oppressor doesn't have influence? Where it doesn't have. Yeah, I don't, he hasn't revealed himself yet, but I think he might be a oppressor. You said Africa.
So like he said, you are free to leave America. Why lie? TN said Africa.
So right now, that in South Africa, and in other countries in Africa, you got Macron, the French president. You know, they're going through a whole battle right now to get his influence of France off of the continents in Africa, the Congo, and other countries. The white man is the devil of the planet Earth. He's not the devil just of America.
Right.
So you tell me, and also Africa's not a country; it's a continent. So what country in Africa, on the continent of Africa, can anybody go to be free? There's no country on the planet Earth where the white man is not ruling or having an impact or undermining a society. That's what the CIA does.
Right.
The president of El Salvador, right? He's supposed to be this up and coming president, and who is he coming over here kissing the feet of? Donald Trump. He built a whole prison for the Hispanics that are here in America to be imprisoned in his country and have America pay him to do it. Stop telling us that we're free.
Good night.
What this brother's bringing out is heavy. When he said Christ is talking to the Jews and saying, listen, who the Son sets free is free indeed. And they say, we were never in bondage. We were never slaves. TN, if you a Negro, you were a coon.
Right.
And you just like the men that Christ is talking to right now.
Right.
Who clearly Rome was ruling over them, right? Rome was ruling over them, and they telling Christ, we was never in bondage. But you got a Herod, a white man, calling himself the king of Judah, and Pilate is the governor.
Good night.
And then your family was in slavery in Egypt. So what are you talking about?
Right.
That's these dumb Negroes. Now, listen, I ain't mad about Hammer. If he's a white man, he's the devil. He's supposed to act like that.
Right.
But TN, if you a Negro, you a coon, man. And you oblivious. And you is a Christian. If you a Muslim, you a Christian.
Right.
If you a Buddhist, you a Christian.
Right.
Salakia, priest, go ahead.
Come on, give him a hand. We trying to help you out, brother. But what you got to understand, you playing a coward's game. What you want to do, what you just suggested is what a coward would suggest.
Right.
I mean, you want to run. I mean, when we just read in Revelations, what was that, 13? Well, we just read in Revelation, the 13th chapter, the Most High said, he that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. You want to run to some little safe haven, some little place on earth that you think that is somehow free of white people. You know what I mean? But the Most High wants you to rule the earth. And he wants your slave masters. He don't want you to run from your slave masters because they continue to be. And the fact that you just said that, it just shows that you understand that we are in captivity and we do have an oppressor. And your oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. You just confirmed it because you want to run. You don't run from somebody that's good. You run from somebody that's dangerous. But to reiterate, you playing a coward's game, man. The Most High wants you to rule the earth. You know what I mean? He don't want you to run to some little imaginary safe haven where you can just be, you know what I mean? You can be free to get high in your own little bubble.
Right.
He wants you to rule the earth. More time, Christ. Well, where we at? And this is how you're gonna do it right here. You can't be who you are and get, you know what I mean, the Most High on your side and bring on the revolution of the Lord. You have to come back to your culture. And then and only then will you be on top. As a matter of fact, what is that? Let's get, just for context sake, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15 real quick. And then we're gonna come back to John 8. But that's the only way for you to get rulership. That's the only way. There's only one way. There's only one way. And the Most High told us from the beginning how to get rulership. Now we wanna try to reinvent the wheel and try to find some other way to do it, but it's never worked for us. You know what I mean? All these years we've been trying to join ourselves to our oppressor. We done tried to pick up guns and fight against our oppressor. We done try to vote our way out of this captivity. We think technology, you know what I mean, is gonna get us out of this captivity. We think that interracially marrying with our oppressor and all of that. You know how many times I done talked to Native American brothers and they get back is sleeping with the with white women. As they get back, they like, oh, they done stole our land. They done separate our family, this, that, and the third. They go into all this history about how they done did all these things to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and then they great get back is to sleep with their oppressor's woman. I mean, that is a joke, and that is not how the Most High told us to get out of this captivity. Right. You got that?
Con, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and all his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So if we don't, you might get one real quick, Salaki. If we don't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, then we'll receive all these curses. You know what I mean? We like to talk about generational curses, right? You know what I mean? We trying to break all these generational curses. That's another thing that we think. We think money We think working so hard for your oppressor is going to get you out of this captivity and bring about the revolution of the Lord. It is not. You know what I mean? I want to save you some trouble. You know what I mean? I'm not saying don't go to work. I'm not saying don't, you know what I mean, work hard and get what you need for your family. But if you think it's going to bring about the revolution of the Lord, or we just got to buy black, we got to start black businesses, and we got to do this, that, and the third, that's not going to bring about the revolution of the Lord. You know why? Because we tried that. And your oppressor, if you don't have the Lord on your side, if the Lord is not with you, then your oppressor is free to come in there and burn down your black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhoods.
Right.
He's free to go in your barrios and your reservations and steal your women to traffic them, steal your children and traffic them all over the world. He got the authority. As long as the Lord's not with you, he got the authority to have you thrown out of the country by ICE agents and put in cages, you know what I mean, for your children to be never to be found. And they just like, you know what I mean, they losing millions of children, and they just like, I don't know what happened to them. They have the authority to do that because the Lord is not with you, man.
Right.
The Lord is not with us. But read verse 1, Baba Kashan.
Con, it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee high above all nations of the earth.
You see, you notice that in between all of that, in both of those things that we just read in Deuteronomy 8 and 1 and Deuteronomy 8 and 15, there was no mention of equality. There was curses, and that would be below all these nations, and all these nations would do this and they would do that, and you would be cursed in the city and cursed in the field, and a nation from afar will, a strange nation will overtake you and separate your families and destroy you, and you will go into slavery by ships. You know what I mean? That's if you don't follow the these laws, statutes, and commandments. But if you do, then you'll be set on high above all nations upon the face of the earth. There was no mention of equality.
Right.
There was no mention of sharing. There was no mention of running to some imaginary country in Africa where you can, you know what I mean, you can be free to be just like your oppressor, your father, the devil. You know what I mean, there was no mention of that. The only way for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to get justice is for us to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. And justice looks like rulership.
That's right.
Justice looks like rulership for you to be on high above all nations, and for your oppressor to go and change and build your kingdom up. You about to say something? Okay. No sweat. Let's go back to that John real quick. Salakia. Verse 33. Or you said what?
I'm gonna start back at the top.
Oh yeah. Let's go ahead. Start from the top.
This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 33. They answer him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man.
So they, like Officer Tapazar just said, we stand in captivity underneath the Romans, you know what I mean, with oppressors ruling over us, you know what I mean, calling themselves after our name. But they saying we've never been in bondage. We've never been in bondage to any man. While you're serving an oppressor, while the money that the currency, the very currency that you're spending has your oppressor's face on it, but you've never been in bondage of any man. You know what I mean? They was oppressing the hell out of Israelites with extreme taxes. You know what I mean? As they do, much like how they do today. You know what I mean? But we claim that we've never been under any oppressor, or we've never been in bondage to any man. It's like it. Go ahead, read on.
Kind. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free?
Watch what Christ said.
Verse 34. Yahweh shall answer them, verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committed sin is the servant of sin.
See, whoever committed sin is the servant of sin. You're not only the way that you know how you know that you are the servant of sin, or you know how you are the servant of sin, because the people for you to be able to continue to sin, you have to be under the people who allow you to sin, the people who encourage you to sin. See, you're a servant to sin, so your oppressor can tell you, oh, it's okay to be LGBTQ, and they could put all these LGBTQ programs and all of that, and put all these strange characters. You know what I mean? They got beards, 6'7" with beards, breasts, and you know what I mean, dress and wigs and all of that, and to confuse the hell out of your kids before they even know what sex is. You know what I mean? It's because we are servant to sin. It's like somebody at the door. But you know what I mean? It's because we chose. It's because we are servant to sin. You know what I mean? We are servant to we are servant to the people who are the number one. You know what I mean? The number one LGBTQ community. Hey, you understand? We are servant to the number one LGBTQ members, the number one robbers, the number one unalivers, the number one mass shooters, and all of those different things, man. The only way for us to get out of the bondage, this is the description of the revolution of the Lord right here. You know what I mean? The only way for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to get from underneath the bondage of our oppressor is for us to not be sinners like our oppressor. Go ahead, Reno. Or is it actually, let's drop down to verse 44 real quick.
This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
So if we continue to be just like our oppressor, then we're going to be, if we continue to do the things that our oppressors taught us to do, that got us in captivity in the first place, then we're going to be just like our oppressor. You want to know why Black, Hispanic, and Native American neighborhoods are you know what I mean, full of death and unalivings and drugs, and you know what I mean, you want to know why most of us grew up without fathers and our mothers as monsters, and you know what I mean, our families is destroyed. You want to know why so much drugs in your community, and you know what I mean, everybody knows somebody close to you that's a drug addict. You know what I mean, and why we constantly being destroyed and why we don't own nothing. It's because your oppressor is a liar.
Right.
Your oppressor is a murderer. Your oppressor is a murderer. Your oppressor is a liar. Your oppressor is a drug addict and a drug. You see, Elon Musk. You know what I mean? He's on that ketamine. You know what I mean? He's the advisor of and the biggest financier of Donald Trump at this point. But he is still a drug addict. Now you claim to do drugs as a Black, Hispanic, and Native American man because you got these issues. You know what I mean? You need to cope with pain that you're dealing with. You got, you know what I mean? You got all these things on you. Your life is hard, long story short. Right. So that's why you a drug dealer, a drug addict, you know what I mean, an alcoholic. You know what I mean? That's why you all of those things. But what's Elon Musk's excuse? See, the reason why you are all those things I just mentioned is because your oppressors and the people that you look up to, the people that you want to be like, the people that you love, you know what I mean? Like A. Hammer, he say, why'd make everything nice? You know what I mean? The reason why the reason why we think that is because your oppressor is he's the number one drug dealer, he's the number one liar, he is the number one rapist and robber and murderer and all those different things, man.
Right.
And we have become just like him, man.
Right.
Because we don't want to accept that we're in captivity. Sir. Slack, you give him a mic?
Hold on. You said why did he make everything right?
Yeah, he said that in past class.
Oh, like Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Good night.
Right. Why did he make everything right?
Good night. He must have been on that island.
That's what I'm saying. Pleasure Island.
Yikes.
Right. Like Walt Disney and the Disney, what they doing to them little kids. Why did he make everything right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, like they're the perfect rulers. You know what I'm saying? The people are rejoicing here on planet Earth for the rulership of the white man.
Good night.
That makes perfect sense. He's right, man. We should all become Protestants and just fight against the Roman Church, man. It's just the Pope. It wasn't white Christian Protestants that put us in slavery.
Right.
It was the Roman Catholic Church.
Right.
They had us in chains over here in America, right? I mean, hold on. Why did the whites leave England and come to America? They left because of religious oppression, right? Because they wanted freedom from the Roman Catholic Church or from the king's rules, right?
Right.
And then so you had white Protestant Christians who went and took Israelites from Africa and enslaved them here in America. And you got this devil telling us that we should not be mad at white Protestant Christians. That makes perfect sense, man. What were we thinking? It's the rap music.
Right.
It got us bewildered. Hey, Hammer, man. Hey, give us the breakdown. What's the first steps we need to take to get right?
Right. Now, give him a hand. I would like to answer that question as well. Slacky, what you about to say?
No, it's just crazy because that's why, the scriptures say, he is a liar, and he is the father of it.
Right.
Because what he does is he hides behind the guise of righteousness. You would think that Disneyland is just this such fun place, where kids can, enjoy themselves and have a grand old time.
Right.
You would think, that the Roman Catholic Church is a place where, they just, serve God and they're just such righteous people. They hide behind the guise of righteousness, but they are a liar and the father of it. They are the wicked people on the earth.
Right.
You understand? Salakia, can't say that, but that's the problem. They want everybody to act like their eyes are shut, but in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we wide awoke.
Right.
You understand? We understand what's going on. We see what's going on.
Right.
And you can't lie to us. You can lie to everybody else, but you can't lie to us. We know who you are. Salaki.
Right, Connor, give him a hand. I'm not reading that again, and it's gonna explain. Because, this oppressor, I'm assuming, is in the chat. Just blaming. Exonerating our oppressor of all the crimes that they have committed against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And you know who is his right hand cheerleader? You know who is right there defending the hell out of our oppressor? It's another brother. It's our brother. Read that again real quick.
This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 33. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed and were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou, ye shall be made free?
Like I told you before, this line of thinking isn't new. The same spirit that we be in when we try to defend our oppressor, when we try to let me get Jeremiah 6 and 16, I believe it is. 16 to 6, one of those. Salakia.
I got you.
Water. But the same spirit that we was in here when Christ is talking to the Israelites in captivity under the Romans is the same spirit that we in right now. You know what I mean? Where your oppressor is trying to exonerate himself of all the crimes that he committed against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And it's a black, Hispanic, and Native American that's going to stand there and co-sign every lie that your oppressor spews out of his mouth to try to make himself innocent when he's the most guilty man on the face of the earth. You know what I mean? You mind reading that real quick?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way, and walk therein?
See, we trying to tell you that the old paths is the good way. See, your Christian pastors would like to, they say, oh, the Old Testament, oh, that's the Old Testament. That's the old way. But what did that just say?
Ask for the old paths. Where is the good way?
See, the prophet Jeremiah is telling you that the old paths is a good way, but your Christian pastor, who is the arm of your oppressor, who is the you know what I mean, who he stands instead of your oppressor, just like Moses was to the people of Israel instead of a God. Blacks, your Christian pastors, they are, every Christian church that you see, they are instead of your oppressor. That's why when you see like you seeing in the comments, when you see a oppressor, trying to make himself guiltless over the crimes that they've committed against black people, it's a black man that's fighting tooth and nail to try to get strong black men to believe that he is innocent when he is absolutely not.
Right.
Concert.
So, like, if I could, Priest, you doing an excellent job. Let's give him a hand, please, man. This brother's doing an excellent job. You know what I'm saying? And the heavy part about it is that the reason why Christ is telling them this, that who the Son sets free is free indeed, that's a political statement.
Right.
He's making a political statement because people think that politics is separate you know what I'm saying, from spirituality. Right. Especially black people, black Christians. They think politics is just something that you do, like you vote, right? You go to council meetings, right? But but really what politics is, it's the aggregate to try to get power. It's people groups trying to acquire power.
Right.
And what we do is we lie to ourselves and make ourselves believe that there are other ways to attain power outside of serving God, outside of following Christ. And there is no other way. They thought because, you know, they weren't under the oppression of Egypt no more, that they weren't slaves. And that's it. And Christ had to let them know, whoever commits sin is the servant of sin. You become a slave once you buy into anything that's outside of your culture, man.
Right.
You understand? And you buying into voting, you buying into thinking that you can get power any other way outside of what God said by serving God, then you're a fool. You've deceived yourself.
Right.
You understand? We're not running for the game that the Ephraim is in Africa. The Africans sold us into slavery.
Right.
You understand? We not listen. Zondervan's Bible Dictionary says that Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, Libya, Canaan, right, Egypt, but not the Negroes.
Right.
And we know that. We know Africans don't look at us as brothers. You understand? We know that. You're not fooling us. You a Christian and you a coon, Tien.
Right.
We don't want you on stage. We want to see your face. Go make a TikTok video, man.
Right.
Go do a TikTok dance and record yourself, man. We ain't bringing you on stage because you don't stand for nothing, man.
Right.
You a clown, bro. Salaki.
Right. Go ahead. Go ahead and read that real quick.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 16. Thus said the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way, and walk therein?
The Lord is trying to tell you where the good path is. But what we want to do, we want to have our cake and eat it too. We want to try to we want to live like our oppressor, but then rule. You know what I mean? We want to get out of this condition under our oppressor. You know what's funny to me? Where all your life you learn that you are you born as a black, especially as a black Hispanic, especially as a black man. You know what I mean? Your mother told you when you was young, I'm sure, that you born with 2 strikes against you already, and that you are better than your oppressor, and you got to work twice as hard and this, that, and the third to achieve the same accomplishments as your oppressor. But then when you get older, everybody teaches you that you have to be just like your oppressor. You are equal to your oppressor. Now, what sense does that make? You gotta work twice as hard, and with 2 strikes against you already, to be equal to or you gotta be better. You gotta be better than our oppressor. You know what I mean? Anybody that's, you know what I mean, you see marching in the streets and protesting with signs and singing and humming and all of those different things. The reason why Martin Luther King and the reason why we do the protests in the way that we do them is because we're trying to convince our oppressor that we are better. They hit us, they pour hot coffee in our lap, they sick dogs on us and hit us over the head with billy clubs, and we just gonna be peaceful, and we just gonna hum and sing and dance. We gonna hold Bibles in our hands, and we gonna march, and we gonna link arms while they run us over, because we're trying to show them that we better than them. Right. Now, if we're better than our oppressor, then why are we fighting for why are we fighting to be equal to our oppressor? That don't make sense, man. But the Most High is trying to tell you that this is how you be better than your oppressor. You are, first of all, he told you that you are better than them because he chose you to be a special people above all people on the face of the earth. And then he told you that if you follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, that you will be above all nations that are upon the face of the earth.
Right.
So he's trying to tell you right here in Jeremiah the 6th chapter. He's saying, stand ye away and see, and ask for the old paths, which is the good way. Go ahead, read on.
And walk therein.
Nah, and the law is done away with.
And walk therein.
Nah, Christ done, you know what I mean? He nailed it to the cross.
And walk therein.
We got to follow. We got to do these things. He said we got to keep, therefore, and do them. Because this is our wisdom and understanding in the sight of the other nations. He said we got to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead.
And ye shall find rest for your souls.
Do you want to know why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is constantly restless? Well, you got to work 80 hours a week, but then all of that 80 hours, you work 80 hours a week, and then all that money gets taken by child support, or gets taken by, you know what I mean, with taxes, or taken, you know what I mean, in some way by your oppressor. You know what I mean? You'll never get to see none of that. You work double overtime to make your oppressor millions. You know what I mean? Even if you become an athlete or some sort of, you know what I mean, you become an athlete or some sort of entertainer, rapper, or anything like that, you make these so-called, you make millions to make your oppressor trillions. You know what I mean? So you, even if you make yourself a decent, and then at the end of the day, they find a way to get it from you anyway. You know what I mean? You want to live like your oppressor. You don't want to walk in the ways of, you don't want to walk in the old ways that the Most High gave you. So you got Diddy, you know what I mean? He throwing these freak offs and, you know what I mean, all of these different things, and we trafficking drugs, and we want to get on, you know what I mean, get on this freakiness that your oppressor be on, and they find a way to exploit you and take all that money that you didn't acquired over a long career of being a servant and a puppet to your oppressor. You know what I mean, if you don't walk in the ways of the Most High God, then you are always going to be a puppet in a pawn for your oppressor. Please go ahead.
No, what you're saying is so heavy, because what you said is we're fighting, to be removed, from oppression. When us as Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, I just think we're fighting to be removed from the perception, of oppression. Because like you just brought up, we cool, with the crumbs, from our oppressor. We're cool with the perception of sitting at the table.
Right.
Knowing damn well, it ain't a seat for us at that table.
Right.
So that thing that we're fighting for, long as those stimulus checks come out, you know what? We cool,
Right.
So I think it's more so as we're fighting for the perception of it.
Right.
Because long as we're getting fed and, we're getting, what's the word I'm looking for lack of better words, massaged or whatever, long as we're getting that, then we're okay. You know what I'm saying? Salaki.
No, right. Now, what he said was absolute truth. Give him a hand. See, we are so much more petty than the Most High. You know what I mean? The Most High, like we reading, and we gonna read some more, but the Most High wants you to be on top. He wants you to be in rulership. He wants you to make the earth. He wants you to build the kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. He wants you to put the earth in order. But we so petty, like the priest just said. You know what I mean? We petty. We okay with just looking like we in rulership, looking like, you know what I mean, we got a seat at the table. You know what I mean? To where now you look at Jay-Z and you aspire to be like Jay-Z. Before that, I believe, you know what I mean, Diddy, was the aspiration of what Black excellence was. Right. You know what I mean? We aspire to be like them whole time. Once you see these stars fall, once you see you know what I mean, these decisions that are made, you know what I mean, you see that they are not they don't have the power that you think they do. You know what I mean? They see, like, you see, I believe it was the what was it? We look at Jay-Z, and cause he what is he? He over the Super Bowl. I forget what his title or what he do in the, yeah. Right. Well, good night. That is crazy. That's a crazy title. But we look at that and we like, yes, we made it. We control the narrative. So when we see Kendrick Lamar performing and things like that, we think like, yeah, we finally controlling the narrative. First of all, we was controlling the narrative before the Super Bowl, because before the halftime show, we had the I forget what it was called, but Black people basically, there was during the halftime, everybody would leave the stadium and go see Black people perform. I believe it was the Wayans brothers that was you know what I mean, that was collecting all that bread for that. They would entertain people in between the shows or in between the or during the halftime. But then, you know what I mean, because Michael Jackson performed at the Super Bowl, it became a NFL thing, and it became a white thing. It became, so now when you see all that money that's generated, all that revenue that's generated through that halftime show, you think that you look at Jay-Z and think that he's controlling the narrative and we finally back in power. That's all of that was stolen from us, all to make our oppressor millions. So like, sir, you about to say something? But the Most High doesn't want you to be a puppet for your oppressor. He wants you to be in rulership. Otherwise, there's no way for you to stand next to your oppressor and rule with him. You know what I mean? You're never going to have a seat with your oppressor. Right. You know, you're either going to be on top or you're going to be on the bottom, and you're going to suffer all these curses. Like it, sir. Go ahead.
No, it's like, if I could, like, just see me to the point that Kahanga Bar was making about the appearance of being at the table, right? What you said was so heavy about what you bringing out about Jay-Z and him being this consultant for the NFL, because at the time Kaepernick was that this took place. Kaepernick was doing the knee, having the brothers in the NFL knee, right? So now think about that. You got brothers that are having these NFL contracts, like you said, making millions, right? But they're kneeling on one knee. Why? Because they're thinking about the people that are oppressed outside of the stadium, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm a professional NFL player, but my people are suffering. They are acknowledging what? That they're slaves.
Right.
They're acknowledging the condition, and they're using that platform to let other people know about the condition of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And then here comes Jay-Z, right? And look, it is so deep. He gets confronted, and he has a seat, what? At the table. Good night. And then think about it. He, like you said, you brought up Kendrick Lamar's performance. That wasn't about like no freedom or artistic expression about the struggles of black people. It was about his beef with Drake. Two black men fighting against each other, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And posting that across and broadcasting that across the media. It's a distraction. And so to Kahan's point, we want the appearance of being at the table, but really we're the dogs fighting over the crumbs under the master's table, man. You understand? No, nobody. You listen. White folks do that, but I ain't never seen people who have pets bring their pets up to the table and let them eat off of the place that their kids eat off of, man.
Right.
You understand? If we recognize that we're the slave class in this nation, then we can really serve our power. Right. You understand? Like the Lord let the Israelites cry out for a long time, until he sent Moses to deliver them. And then when Moses came, you know what they said? Look, man, you making stuff hard for us, man. You going to Pharaoh? He didn't increase our burden. Man, tell Trump, listen, man, stop, man. Trump's gonna take away our stimulus checks, man. He gonna take away our overtime. Why you speaking out for, man? Let us have our massage, our comfort. Right. The flesh pots in Egypt, keeping our belly full. Man, as long as them eggs is cheap, I'm cool. And see, Christ know that. Christ know that, man. You don't listen. If every black Hispanic Native Indian was making $150,000 a year, we wouldn't want Christ to come back, man.
Right. Good night.
We wouldn't want Christ to come back. I'm cool if he come back or not. I'm straight. My kids got their college fund. I got my, I can go on 4 trips during the year to the islands. I can go to the strip club, throw some money, smoke a little weed. The only reason why we cry out to God is because of the oppression. It's him letting us know, like the brother just said, the priest just said, either you're going to be on the top or you're going to stay on the bottom, man. And that's what the revolution of God is, man. It's the changing of positions. Salaki.
Right. In my hand. What he said was so heavy. As long as you fighting for crumbs, that's all you're gonna have. And your oppressor, and what he said something, you said something too, sir. We cool with the crumbs as long as the eggs is cheap. But you see right now, you know what I mean? That all they gotta do, they can change that at any time. At any moment, if all you want is the crumbs from your oppressor's table, if all you want is a seat at your oppressor's table, they can take that at any time. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you think or how hard you done worked, you know what I mean, how many millions you got, your oppressor can come and take that at any time, man. And they're going to. You see it happening with all the stars that you look up to. They're falling. You know what I mean? Because your oppressor is the one that put them in that position. And your oppressor is the one that's taking it away too. Please, sir.
Just real quick, right? You think about the phrase, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Who is that for? Is that for humans?
Good night.
I mean, that's for dogs.
Right.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Listen, right now, they talking about the National Guard and sending the Marines to LA because of these ICE raids, right? And I'm seeing all these oppressors on the comments saying, send them in, shoot them down. They listen to different types of machine guns. I even see some white folks saying where the water hose is at.
Good night.
We need law and order. And then I was thinking to myself, where was all this righteous indignation when the Capitol building was getting stormed? Right. Where was sending the Marines? And they were destroying a government building.
Right.
In D.C., in the capital of the nation. But because in L.A., they're mad about you gathering up Hispanics. Have y'all seen some of these videos of them separating the parents from the kids, bro? Listen, I seen a sister, man, a Hispanic sister. She was throwing up because they were taking her from her son. And the son was like, "Mama, please stop. You gonna have a heart attack. Stop." 9 years old, and she's about to fall out, man, because they're taking her and shipping her back overseas and putting her son in CPS care to go to some internment camp. This is insanity.
Right.
Now look, Trump is doing this. All the while, he has a South African president in the White House saying, we've been hearing some stories about how you're treating white people, that's the white South Africans in South Africa, that they're being murdered and killed and gathered up and shipped off. While he's shipping Hispanics to El Salvador and Guantanamo Bay. This is the pride of your oppressor, man.
Right.
This is the arrogance and the hubris of your oppressor. That this white man Hammer can sit on here and tell us what we need to do, but he ain't said nothing about Trump. And what he's doing to the Hispanics. Right. And I'm sure he had no commentary from when they raided the Capitol building. Right. And then this same president pardoned all of those people involved in the Capitol assault. Come on, man. Listen, y'all. Listen, this is Nazi Germany 4.0. You know what I'm saying? This is the Fourth Reich. Not the third. We in the Fourth Reich, man. You better understand it. This is Pharaoh. Salakia.
Oh, no, give him a hand. The most I don't want every Salakia, go ahead.
Just real quick, you had said like how we're fighting, to be removed from this oppression. Listen, the Lord God gave us instructions on how to get up out of this oppression.
Right.
And it's not difficult. When black people are offended, by, let's just say, I'm going to use the example of like, let's say Target, right? When Trump got in office, what I'm saying, and he says, he's removing, where you don't have to hire a certain amount of, black people. Target, what I'm saying, said, hey, well, we separating ourselves from that program. What do black people do? Man, I ain't going to Target no more, man. So when we're offended by certain things, we're quick to get together and try to boycott certain things.
Right.
But we won't get together to boycott the white man. And that's the only thing that we got to do.
Right.
The Most High says, I'm going to put you in rulership. And like Tabazar said, this is a changing of the guard. This is a role reversal. And the only thing that we got to do to be on top is to love one another and boycott the goddamn white man. Salaki.
Right. No. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of this class. Like, and the Most High don't want everybody. So if you don't have the stomach to be able to separate yourself from your white daddy, the Most High don't want everybody. Right. So it's fine. You want to be a perpetual slave to your oppressor, that's fine. It's your prerogative, I guess. I can't make you. We're not gonna make you. We're not gonna force you to. Come and learn your culture. We're not going to force you to ask questions so that you can understand your culture better. We're not going to force you to, keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We're just going to tell you what the Bible says and what the Most High says about the matter and how we're going to get out of this captivity. And if you continue to reject it, that's absolutely fine. You mind if I get 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 7 real quick? What the priest is saying, is the whole point. We're gonna see a changing of the guard between the rulership or who's in rulership on this earth, man. We're gonna see, because right now you see whether you got the stomach to admit it or not. Your oppressor. There is one nation that is ruling the entire earth right now. There is one nation of people that's oppressing all nations on this earth, man. There is one nation of people that is primarily responsible for Black, Hispanic, and Native American, pain and suffering, and the reason why you get high in the first place, the reason why you sell drugs in the first place, the reason why you hate yourself in the first place, the reason why you feel like, the way to get up out of this condition is to get a higher position in your oppressor's government or in your oppressor society in the first place. He's the reason for all of those things.
Right.
So whether you would admit it or not, there's one nation of people that rules the earth right now. But the Most High would have it to be where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are ruling. We're going to see it right here. You might read that real quick.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followed?
See, right now, like I just said a second ago, we in a time where your oppressor is ruling everything. You can't do anything without your oppressor having his hand in it. You know what I mean? Whether it's start a business or whether, you know what I mean, we was talking about Jay-Z, you know what I mean? We look at him as if he's in a powerful position, but he has to answer to somebody that's making decisions. He's just the puppet. He just sitting there. He just in the seat that looks like he's doing big things. You know what I mean? Even, you know what I mean, you look at, you know what I mean, with the whole Diddy situation, you know what I mean? He had a good run, but then your oppressor took all of that away from him. Whole time they I mean, what Diddy is, don't get me wrong, what Diddy doing or what Diddy did was very disgusting, you know what I mean? But they locked him up. You know what I mean? They locking him up and, you know what I mean, scrutinizing him while they're doing the exact same thing. You know what I mean? On the day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Elon Musk just revealed that the reason why Donald Trump don't want to release the Epstein files is because he's in the Epstein files. He was on the island getting freaky.
Right.
But they, you know what I mean, they got a black man locked up for doing the exact same thing that they doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So your oppressor is on top right now and he's ruling and nobody's gonna there's nobody to punish your oppressor. You know what I mean? There's nobody to hold your oppressor accountable. You know what I mean? There's no police to arrest. You know what I mean? They can put a boot on George Floyd's neck. You know what I mean? While they exonerate Derek Chauvin for taking his life. You know what I mean? They when they see you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, and they want to arrest you or they feel like you might be just a little violent or you want to you try to run away from the police, you know what I mean? They going to empty the clip into you.
Right.
But I just saw footage of a white man who had punched on four police officers and ran away. Now this white man didn't look like he was he wasn't in good shape by no means, but he punched on 4 police officers and yeah, he was pretty big, but you know what I mean? But point is, you take a tiny, you know what I mean, a little teenager, they was fearing for their life when it came to what's his name? That young child name that was shot Cleveland. Concert. Damn, Tamir Rice. They feared for their life with Tamir Rice and that little plastic gun, but that, you know what I mean, he looked like he was good, 6 something, couple 100 pounds, you know what I mean? He was a big boy. Not one of those police officers feared for their life. They didn't even reach for their weapon. You know what I mean? And they just, you know what I mean? That's how they deal with their own people. You know what I mean? But yeah, please, if you could. Oh, please, what you got?
And real quick, you know, while he's finding that video, you know how we're, you know, bringing up, you know, Jay-Z's and, you know, these people in so-called positions of power. The only power, you know, is that these, you know, so-called, you know, black people have, Jay-Z and LeBron James and all. The only power that they have is to destroy black people. Because as soon as, you know what I'm saying, that they try to do anything else, they lose their seat. And they'll do anything that they can not to lose their seat.
Right.
That's why you have them going along with our oppressor to destroy us. That's why you have them going along with our oppressor, you know, to keep us down. Because long as they can keep their seat, then they're good to go. Salaki.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's. Oh, go ahead. But it's several examples though. Several examples. You see it all the time where, you know what I mean, the video it was a body cam footage of 2 police officers chasing down this young boy. He couldn't have been older than, you know what I mean, he had to be in his a teenager or early 20s. He was a good, that's the one. Yep, that's the one right there. You know what I mean? He was that young boy that they emptied the clip on. You know what I mean? That boy was about 90 pounds soaking wet. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? They already had him subdued. I don't know if you can find that one, but they already had the young brother subdued where he ran. He tried to run. It looked like he was at like a bar or restaurant or something. But one of them police officer tackled him to the ground, and while he was on the ground, the other police officer emptied the clip into him. I mean, now if just to put it in perspective, if there's an intruder in my home, or if I'm in a life or death situation and I decide to use my firearm, if I let off more than 3, you know what I mean, I'm gonna be, even though I'm defending my own life, you know what I mean, and I might be in a state where that's open carry or whatever the case is, I'm gonna have to go through a process. I'm gonna be in a position where I'm gonna probably face some jail. I'm gonna be in fear of facing jail time. But these trained professionals with these firearms that's got body armor that's about 100 pounds heavier than this young man, and they already had him subdued, they're allowed to fear for their life and use that as an excuse to empty the clip on them. Salaki, what you about to say?
Just gonna say, and it's just it's just crazy how police officers are the only ones that can fear for their life.
Good night.
We don't even have weapons on us, and then we see police officers with weapons approach us, we automatically fear for our life. You know what I'm saying? As Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, because of what has been done to us in history, we automatically fear for our life when we come into contact with law enforcement.
Right.
But they're the only ones that can fear for their life.
Right.
If there's a no-knock warrant and you sleep in a bed and you hear somebody kick down your door, well, it's natural to grab your firearm and run to the door to protect your family. But you do that, and then it happens to be a police officer, and you don't know because it was a no-knock warrant. They didn't announce themselves or anything. Well, now you getting put in jail because, you couldn't fear for your life. That I fear for my life stuff goes out the window when it comes to us. But when it comes to like you said, the police officers, when they fear for their life, they have their right, but we don't have it. So like,
Right. No, in my head. That's crazy. The trained professionals are the ones that get the fear for their life. The armed, trained professionals they got, you know what I mean, a plethora of tools at their disposal on their belt. You know what I mean? They got a billy club. They got the damn, the taser gun. You know what I mean? They got firearm with magazines, and they got body armor. They got, and not to mention, they got, you know what I mean, a radio to call backup. They got the American government on their side. You know what I mean? If somebody, let's say you do fear for your life, you end up losing your life in the line of duty, you have the American government in your corner. You know what I mean? If anybody tries to rebel against the police, or, you know what I mean, these ICE agents or whatever the case is, and they, with all of that backup, with all of that protection, and all of these tools that they have at their disposal, these trained professionals get the fear for their life. Meanwhile, an unarmed black man is not allowed. You're not allowed to fear for your life. You're not allowed to fear for your life or run or fight back, or if you're not even allowed to talk back. You know what I mean? You getting arrested and they not telling you why, there's no reason, or they just oppressing you. You're not able to ask, why am I being arrested? Why you doing this? This is wrong. They gonna slam you on the hood of the car. They gonna slam you on the ground, put their knee on your neck and suffocate you. You know what I mean? If they don't, empty the clip on you. You know what I mean? But here go this is what your oppressor has the privilege to do. See, you notice that it don't even look like they pursued him. Like, first of all, she walked right in. She just walked up to get a punch. You know, she just walked up to get stolen on. But he took off, and they didn't even chase after him. Like, go ahead, play that.
If I could, I just want to see the glasses come off her face right quick. It's like
spun her jaw. Now, what do you think? Anybody in the comments, right? What do you think would have happened? A Hammer. What do you think would have happened if that was a black man? If that was a black man that did exactly that, what do you think would have happened? Let me see if you got a. I'm sure you don't have an honest bone in your body, but I just want to know. I want to know, what do you think, in your honest opinion, in your heart of hearts, if that was a black man that punched on the police, punched on 3 police officers, and then ran away, what do you think would have happened? What do you think those police officers would have done? But what you got to understand is there is a great gulf fixed between the way your oppressors treated in this country and the way blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are treated in this country. This is not your this is not your this is not your government. This is not your rest. This is not, you know what I mean, where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to be where they belong. You know what I mean? So you're not gonna be able to revolt and change the condition of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans through voting, because this is not your system to vote in. It's not built for you. You're not gonna be able to get out of this condition by, you know what I mean, getting property and getting black owned businesses and things like that. Because once you start to get businesses and property and things like that, all they're gonna do is just change the rules. You know what I mean? Like they did January 6th. As soon as Trump got in office, all he did, he just came in and just changed the rules. He got rid of DEI. He got you know what I mean, he getting rid of all the Hispanics, going to the reservations and messing with the Native Americans. You know what I mean? He's upping the police brutality on black people. Every time you think that you getting in you making progress in this nation that's not yours, all they do is change the rules, because this is not your resting place. This wasn't made for you, man. So the only way for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to have some sort of rest in this world is for there to be a changing of the guard.
Right.
Your oppressor can't rule over you. You can't rule with your oppressor and find some sort of rest and peace. As long as you have an oppressor that's ruling over you and making rules, and as long as you have a devil, an oppressor next to you, you know what I mean, in your ranks, you know what I mean, you can't have no safety, no rest, and you can't make no change for your people. Go. You got that scripture?
Con, it's the book of Second Esdras.
You got a apocrypha? You got a mic too? Second Esdras chapter 6 and verse 8.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
I believe this is Esdras talking to a angel, right? And he's asking all these questions. And the question he asks is, what shall be the part and asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of what follows? Basically, he asking the same question that we've been talking about all night. When are things gonna change? When are we gonna get up out of this condition? When are the times gonna change? When are we no longer gonna be oppressed by another nation? When are we gonna no longer be in hell? When is this gonna happen? And this is what the angel said. Go ahead, read on. He said, read verse 8 again, Baba Kasha.
Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
So what is this referencing? This is referencing in Genesis when I believe Rebecca was pregnant with twins, and the angel had prophesied that had told her that, you know what I mean, there are 2 nations in her womb and 2 manner of people that will be separated from her bowels. You know what I mean? And the elder shall serve the younger. Esau came out first, so that would make him the elder. Esau is the progenitor of your oppressor. He's the progenitor of Donald Trump and Elon Musk and all of your oppressors that you see that's oppressing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. And then Jacob, you know what I mean, was the younger. He came out second. Jacob is the progenitor of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel. And when he came out, read that again, Baba Shah.
Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
He held first the heel of Esau. You know what I mean? So this is what this is referencing. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world,
Uh-huh.
and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
So we want to figure out when things are going to change. The only way for things to change for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is for Esau's rule to end on the world and for Jacob to rule. It don't say nothing about Jacob and Esau ruling side by side. It don't say nothing about, Jacob and Esau finally coming together and singing Kumbaya. It don't say nothing about that. It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. See, what you see, Esau is ruling the earth right now. And in this prophecy is saying that your oppressor's kingdom is surely going to fall and end. And after their kingdom falls and after their rulership ends, Jacob is going to rule. Go ahead and read on.
Verse 10. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Edris, asked thou not.
So the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Remember, Jacob came out holding the heel of Esau. And it just said that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. The hand of man is referring to all the rest of the nations. The meaning, the condition or the future of all these other nations is it all hangs on what happens between this struggle between Jacob and Esau, right. The progenitor of blacks, which is your oppressor, and black people, black Hispanics and Native Americans. The rest of the nations, what they do depends on our struggle. You know what I mean? And once your oppressor's kingdom ends, then all these other nations are going to serve us. Your oppressor is going to fall, and the scriptures say that they're going to be, they're going to be destroyed off the face of the earth, so that they don't feel no cities. They don't conquer. They can't do any of the things. They can't pillage like they pillaged in the past. They can't rob like they robbed in the past. You know what I mean? That's exactly what's going to happen. That's the changing of the guard. Right. That's the revolution. But you can't have any of those things if we don't come back to our culture. What you gonna do? You gonna rule over. You gonna rule. You gonna get rulership over the world, and then what? Sell your oppressors drugs. You gonna be a drug addict like Elon Musk. You know what I mean? Once he gets taken out of rulership, once Trump gets out of rulership, you're gonna be a freaky, you're gonna be a freaky ruler and and a liar, just like Trump. You know what I mean? The Lord is not coming back. Christ is not coming back. You know what I mean? To save a nation of drug dealers and freak off and LGBTQ members. Let's drop down to 54 real quick.
Con.
And this is for all you Christians, this is for all you Christians and that think whitey make everything nice. You know what I mean? That think your oppressor is so great. And all you Christians that think that we all should come together and love our oppressor. This is what the Most High says about your oppressor. Go ahead, read what you got.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
Right. So we all come from Adam, right? Go ahead.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Read that last line again.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
So we all come from Adam. Read that again.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
So even though we all come from Adam, there's a people that come from Adam that the Most High chose, and there's a people that come from Adam that the Most High did not choose. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Verse 55.
This destroys the whole equality and God loves everybody logic that your Christian church tries to spew. You know what I mean? Or that these blackity blacks, or your Martin Luther Kings and your Crefto. And you know what I find interesting? We hold near and dear to the two greatest civil rights historians that we hold near and dear to as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But both of them denounced the mission or their life work before they lost their life. Martin Luther King, he was talking about we shall overcome and we should join ourselves to our oppressor. And I have a dream that one day we all be able to hold hands with white people and all that nonsense. And then right before he lost his life, he said, I fear that I've led black people into a burning house. You know what I mean? What's his name? Who's the other dude I just named? Malcolm X. The water. Malcolm X. He did the same. He was all about the Nation of Islam until he wasn't. And then he you know what I mean? He tried to expose them. Before he lost his life, he was talking against the Nation of Islam. You know what I mean? How it's a criminal organization. You know what I mean? But we hold on to their life work. We hold on to the we shall overcome and by any means necessary and all of that. But we never acknowledge the fact that they themselves said that they were wrong. You know what I mean? That's because you're a Christian church. That's because you're oppressor. That's because of all of the Christian dogma that we was taught, you know what I mean, to hold on to, that perpetuates our condition in this captivity, that we could never get out of this captivity. But this is the truth right here. Right. What we just read out of Second Esdras, the 6th chapter. Go ahead, read on.
The book of Second Esdras, chapter 6, verse 55. All these have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
For whose sake?
For our sakes.
For everybody's sake?
For our sakes.
See, he's saying the Lord made the world for our sake, for the people that the Most High chose of those that come from Adam. So he didn't choose everybody. And for that nation of people that he chose, he made the world for our sakes. You know what I mean? So God obviously doesn't love everybody. We're going to get a little bit more. We're going to see exactly how the Most High feels about these other nations that he didn't choose. Go ahead, verse 56.
Verse 56. As for the other people, which also come of Adam.
So as for them other people, so we just got done talking about the people that the Most High chose. But as for the other people, go ahead, read on.
Thou hast said that they are nothing.
That they are equal.
That they are nothing.
That that he loves them.
That they are nothing.
That he forgives them.
That they are nothing.
That we should forgive them.
That they are nothing.
You see how Christian dogma and Christian rhetoric and the things that we believe about the Bible and the Most High and Christ don't line up with what's actually in the Bible? He's saying, read that again.
As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
That don't sound like equality. Right. That sounds like the Most High has a preference, and he loves one people over another. Go ahead. So much so, watch what he say about these other people. Go ahead.
But be like unto spittle.
Nah, be like unto equal.
But be like unto spittle.
Nah, be like invited to the cookout.
Unto spittle.
Nah, be like, you know what I mean, we should all join hand in hand.
But be like unto spittle.
Nah, I don't see color.
Be like unto spittle.
See, we don't see color. We don't see nations. But the Most High said that these other nations are like spit. They are the Lord's spit, man. Right. They are trash. They are worse than trash, man. You don't even, you know what's crazy about spit? You don't even have the courtesy to go put a spit in the trash or put it in a receptacle. You spit on the ground. You cast it off. You don't even think about it. You walking or you in your car, you spit on the highway. You don't even think about it. Right. You know what I mean? They worse than trash. They less than trash. You know what I mean? That's what the Most High is saying about these other nations. Go ahead.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that hath fallen from a vessel.
Well, they not only are they nothing, but they less than nothing. It's something like they're not even worth the thought. Like they're not even worth the consideration. Yet before we do anything, we got to consider the white man first. You know what I mean? We build a city, and we got to consider we got to be better than them. So we got to they segregate us, so we got to let all of them in here. And that's how Wall Street was burned down. That's how Rosewood was burned down. That's how Seneca Village was destroyed. You know what I mean? And flooded. That's how Emmett Till, you know what I mean, and all the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know what I mean? That's how Vanessa Guillen on Fort Hood base, you know what I mean, lost her life, because we want to join with our oppressor. Right. You know what I mean? The Most High wants you to separate. Right. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 57, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing.
You see how he keep reiterating that nothing? They have ever been, not only are they nothing and are less than nothing, but they have ever been reputed as nothing, meaning they have always been nothing. You know what I mean? No matter how much you try to make them something, no matter how you try to join them to your society and your kingdom, you want to join to their society and their kingdom and join their family, the Most High said they are nothing, they are less than nothing, they have always been nothing, and they will always be nothing. Go ahead.
Have begun to be lords over us and to devour us.
See, now these people that are nothing and have always been nothing and are less than nothing, they are become lords over us and devour us. You know why? Because we said, you know what I mean, the Lord told us what the good way was, the old path. You know what I mean, following our culture, following these laws, statutes, and commandments. But what do we say? We said we will not walk therein. We rejected the Most High, man. We rejected these laws, statutes, and commandments. And because we rejected knowledge, the Most High will reject us. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Is it? Go to 59 real quick.
Verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? Salakia, how long shall this endure?
How long? That's a good question. This is going to endure until we start to this condition that we in. It's going to endure until we come back to our culture, man. That's how long it's going to endure, man. We can't bring the revolution of the Lord until we separate from these devils who are nothing, these other nations who are nothing and are less than nothing. Thus saith the Most High God, man. Right. We can't bring about the revolution of the Lord being like our oppressor, or trying to bring our have a seat with our oppressor at his table, or trying to invite him to our cookouts, or trying to invite him into our society. We can't bring about the revolution of the Lord and bring our oppressor with him. You know what I mean? The scriptures say, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. You trying to bring your oppressor with you, you bringing garbage with you. Right. Straight up and down, man. Go ahead, go to the next chapter, chapter 7, and start at, I believe, verse Salakia. Go to verse 48.
The book of 2nd Exodus, chapter 7, verse 48. O thou Adam, what have thou done? For it was thou that sinned. Thou art not fallen alone, but we are all that cometh of thee.
Ezra is feeling the same anguish and the same discomfort and the same what's the word? The same Lakia. I can't remember the word, but he's feeling the same pain that we feel today. When we trying to figure out we're trying to figure out how long is this gonna go on for, and why do you know what I mean? Like we always say, you know what I mean, it was Adam and Eve, you know what I mean? Eve ate the apple and Adam, you know what I mean, was the one that sinned, and now we gotta, because Adam sinned, man, why we gotta live in this condition? Why we gotta live in this hell and this, that, and the third, and why is my life so hard because of somebody that was you know what I mean, alive thousands of years ago? You know what I mean? He's feeling the same pain that we feeling today. Go ahead.
Verse 49. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bringeth death?
See, what profit us? Because the Most High said, like we just read in Deuteronomy chapter 28, said if you keep all these commandments that I command you this day, that all these blessings shall come upon you. You know what I mean? And you'll be above all nations upon the face of the earth, and this, that, and the third. But what profited us if that's what we promised? If we, you know what I mean, if the works that we've done bring death. You know what I mean? We constantly getting punished. We constantly receiving the curses. You know what I mean, what profited us for it to be the, you know what I mean, the Lord's chosen people, and for these other nations to be nothing when we constantly in a perpetual state of slavery and captivity and punishment and, you know what I mean, all of those different things. Go ahead.
Verse 50, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain.
Drop down to verse 57. But this is the whole point. Like you ask any drug dealer, any any drug dealer, any unaliver, any robber, any what's it called, any whore, all these sisters that selling their body on OnlyFans or getting on that stripper pole and all of that. You ask them, they gonna tell you that they doing all these things so they can feed their family, so that they can get out of this hell. Cause they grew up in the ghetto. They ain't have nothing. You hear it in all the music. You know what I mean? When you sitting, you eating syrup sandwiches and you know what I mean, and you ain't had no money, and you just grew up and surrounded by somebody with the fear of, you grew up with the fear of somebody kicking in your door and taking everything, or you losing your life, or your friends losing your lives, or your family losing their lives, and all these different things. You know what I mean? So we in a perpetual, because we're in this hell, we in a perpetual state of doing things that is gonna keep us in this hell, because we think that doing those things is what's gonna get us out of this hell, man. Go ahead.
Verse 57. Then answered he me and said, this is the condition of the battle.
This is what?
This is the condition of the battle.
See, this is what you got to understand, first of all, that this is a battle. You know what I mean? Right. To bring about the revolution of the Lord, you're going to have to battle. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to fight against this. You're going to have to fight against the principalities of this world. What scripture is that? You might go into that. But that's what you got to realize. This is a fight. This is a battle. And go ahead, read on.
This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight.
Which man is born upon the earth shall fight. Now, what you got to realize is, we just read in verse 6, you know what I mean? We're talking about the children of Israel. We're talking about the people that the Most High chose. We're not talking about the other nations. This is the battle that we have to fight. This is the condition of the battle which man born upon the earth shall fight. Go ahead. Shall fight. You have to fight this battle. Right. Go ahead. And you are, go ahead, read on. Salaki.
Verse 58. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer, as thou have said.
And if you fight this battle and you are overcome, you're overcome by the drugs, and you overcome by the urge to sell drugs and get high and fall into your oppressor's culture. If you are overcome by the urge to have a seat at your oppressor's table, go ahead, read on. Or to bring your oppressor to your table, Salaki, go ahead.
But if he get the victory, he shall receive the things that I said.
So if you're overcome by those things, by the urge to love your oppressor and join yourself to your oppressor and be weak under your oppressor and defend your oppressor and bring them to all your, bring them to your cookouts and integrate them into your family and be like him. If you overcome by those things, you're going to suffer as we've been suffering. But if we get the victory and we overcome our oppressor, they flood our they flood our communities with drugs. If we just don't use them, if we don't sell them, you know what I mean? They put if every brother stopped going to these strip clubs and throwing money, I guarantee the strip clubs would be empty. If our brothers and sisters stop wanting to love and marry whores, then these sisters will stop being whores. If we stop going on OnlyFans and paying for their OnlyFans, then OnlyFans are going to shut down, because nobody's going to keep doing things. The only reason why our sisters is doing it is because it's lucrative. It's making them money. It's making them rich.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why it's hard to find, you know what I mean? It's hard to find a sister who ain't whored herself out. You know what I mean? Who ain't, you know what I mean? If she's not selling herself now, or she's not just a whore now, she hasn't been a whore in the past, because it's lucrative. But if we just stop making it lucrative, I guarantee that industry is going to shut down. I mean, read that again, Bob Kasha.
Verse 58. That if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou have said. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the things that I say.
See, if we get the victory, what you got to understand about this, first of all, you got to understand that this is a battle. Second of all, you got to understand that this is a spiritual battle. You're not gonna bring about the revolution of the Lord by picking up guns. By I'm not saying don't get a gun. You should have all you know what I mean. You should have all the hardware you need. But you're not gonna bring about the revolution of the Lord by shooting your way out. You know what I mean. You're not gonna bring about the revolution of the war or of the Lord by voting your way out. You know what I mean. By joining yourself to your oppressor. You know what I mean. You're not. That's not how you bring about the revolution of the Lord. It's a spiritual battle. You got that scripture?
God.
But
This,
also like you. Well, what you got to realize that this is a battle and it's a spiritual battle, and you must win. You are not allowed to lose this battle. You can't afford to lose this battle. You have to fight this battle, man. Go ahead, read what you got, Baba Kasha.
God, it's the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
We not fighting against flesh and blood. We not fighting you know what I mean? We not fighting with guns and knives and swords and fists and things like that. But we fighting against what?
But against principalities.
Against principalities, huh?
Against powers. Against the rulers of darkness of this world.
Right.
Against spiritual wickedness.
Against physical wickedness.
Against spiritual wickedness.
Against the what you got to realize, this is a spiritual battle. Go ahead, read on Salakia.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Spiritual wickedness in high places, man. What you got to realize, to fight this battle, you have to fight against your oppressor puts all these opportunities for you to destroy yourself in your face, man. You have to turn away from those things and follow your culture and be separate again, man. That's how you fight this battle, man. I mean, we tried to fight with guns and swords and knives and all of that. We tried to do that. We tried the Black Panther Party and the Malcolm X route. We'd have tried the civil rights route. You know what I mean? And all of those things failed. We tried to separate. We tried the economic route. We tried separating and building Wall Street while still using their drugs and still sleeping with their white women. And that didn't work. You know what I mean? We tried the political route by voting. That doesn't work clearly. You know what I mean? Because with the swipe of their pen, they can erase all of those political things that we might, you know what I mean, that you might be able to help to put in place.
Right.
But what you got to realize is you're not all those physical things that we try to do to fight this battle. That's not going to work, and because it hasn't been working. You got to fight this battle by doing the things that's in this Bible that we just read, man. And the only way for the revolution of the Lord to be brought about is if we do just that.
Right.
And then we're going to finally come out of this condition.
Right.
It ain't no questions or comments or anything like that in the well, I guess we out of time anyway. But you know what I mean, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your loved ones. You know what I mean? Share even whether you agree or disagree, man. Especially if you disagree, go ahead and share it. You know what I mean? Get it, you know what I mean? Share it so y'all can all get in these comments and talk y'all mess so that y'all can, you know what I mean, so that y'all can show yourselves to be, you know what I mean, so that y'all can show that y'all are not scholars and that we are. You know what I mean? But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and pass the class to Trooper Aitazaga Bar for the security announcements. Go ahead, give him a hand.
This is the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, a teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithe, which is the commandment, Book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, masharar. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher, priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, upcoming holy convocations. Salagia, memorial of blowing of the trumpets, first day of the 7th month, Sunday, September 21st, 2025, the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 through 25. Reminder, Akim and Akwaf to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, headband, scarf. This concludes the security announcements. Shalom, Israel.
With that, I Majim, which means a stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual Majim Shabbat. I Majim, Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barak. Yajim Atah. Sorry, we're going to turn and face the sisters. Sister I Majim. Give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Individual Majim Shabbat. I Majim, Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barak. Yajim Atah. Class dismissed.